Good evening, and tonight we have the most sensational action of the season with 3 games that are quite breathtaking. Our main match is Spurs against Wolves with so much goalmouth action.
Cross in there, then beat them all, will it beat Crooks? Oh, just across the face of that Wolves goal.
More goals and thrills follow that as Southampton face Ipswich Town at the Dell.
They've still got a chance of Southampton. This is Shannon faced by Burley. Back to Holmes, he'll put it in. And Moran, now here's Boyer. Oh, off the line, Boyer again. Oh!
And a remarkable game at the end of it from Elland Road between Leeds United and Arsenal.
And here's Rex, Sunderland ahead of him. Collins making the man to his left, and Sunderland.
So many goals on the show tonight, but of course we mustn't forget the news. And here with the major news headlines, Jim Rosenthal.
Well, really, Brian, we've got most of the significant action on our programme. The other 8 First Division matches provided a total of only 7 goals. 4 goalless draws, including Liverpool against Nottingham Forest and the league leaders Aston Villa at West Brom. Dennis Stewart continues his scoring run for Manchester City, but Gary Birtles is barracked by Manchester United fans. And there's a whisper of a big transfer involving Queen's Park Rangers.
Well, more of that later, but now let's get straight into the action as we come to Spurs against Wolves. Spurs on cloud 9 after that League Cup victory over Arsenal last Tuesday. Wolves with a much weakened side through suspension and injury. But together they produce an enthralling match for the crowd on a day when they're thinking very much of the future at White Hart Lane.
They're changing the face of Tottenham. This famous old stand will be knocked down after Wednesday night's game against Crystal Palace, so this is the last time you'll see it looking this way with its season ticket holders, its director's box, its press box and dressing rooms, and in its place by the end of next year they'll have built a £3 million replacement. No replacements needed in the Tottenham team today though. It's the one that beat Arsenal 1-0 in the Football League Cup last Tuesday with a goal by Osvaldo Ardiles. But there's no doubt who's made most impact lately with his goal-scoring efforts. It's the Scotsman Steve Archibald, who is the top scorer at Tottenham this season with 9, including 4 in the last 3 games. Goal scoring has been something of a problem for Wolves. They've scored only 16 in 18 games this season, and with Andy Gray still missing, they might have a problem again today. They're also without defenders Jeff Palmer, suspended, and Derek Clark in a broken toe. Emlyn Hughes is out, Willie Carr is the sub. But at least all this gives a first chance for 19-year-old defender Mick Holyfield, who joined the club 3 years ago and has been playing well in the reserves. And here's Rafael Vilazan. He's from Uruguay, and with Ardiles and Villa of Argentina also on the field, well, at least he should feel pretty much at home today. The referee today, it's Mike Taylor from Deal in Kent. So it's Spurs then who get us away, attacking the goal to our right in white shirts and black shorts. Wolves today in a all strip of all old gold. Vilazan getting up well there. Peter Daniel for them. Wolves who've yet to win away from home. In fact, their travelling record has been pretty poor. They've only had 2 draws to show for all their visits this season. Spurs unbeaten here this season at White Hart Lane, and lying 9th in the table to Wolves 16th. So Mel Eves on the break for Wolves. Here's Mick Holyfield, a genuine left-footed full-back. Having a tussle there with Steve Archibald, and a free kick to Tottenham. Well, it was a victory for Tottenham on Tuesday night, where Osvaldo Ardiles scored, but I think most Tottenham fans would agree that Barry Daines had a magnificent game that night in goal for Tottenham. The referee slightly impeded Vilazan there. Clark. Holyfield. And it'll be Miller getting that one away with a head. Perryman helping it on its way. Brazier, well, he had a go at that, but it came instead to Archibald, and the chase is on. Brazier's after him. Can Archibald keep it going? He might be able to. No, in the end, Brazier's attention were just a little too fierce for him. But a good run from deep there by the Scotsman, and a good chase back to by Colin Brazier. And it really looked as though Archibald was on his way. It was a question of how long his nerve would hold with Brazier at him. It looked for a moment as though he got away there, but then Brazier just dug in there. Very long ball forward there, finding Richards, but that little knockdown is going to be picked up by Perryman. And now here's Houghton. Miller, the long ball forward. This time Brooks is onside. Hoddle's up there with him, and here's Brooks. This could be danger for Wolves. And a penalty given. Brooks brought down and a penalty given, and I must say that Mike Taylor had not the slightest hesitation. Here he goes through now. And indeed a penalty quite justifiably given there. It was the Uruguayan Villazan who brought Brooks down. And a chance for Hoddle to give Tottenham a lead as we come towards the quarter hour. 1-0. Glenn Hoddle's 8th of the season. Sending Bradshaw the wrong way. So as you see, with 13 and a half gone, Spurs 1, Wolves 0. And Glenn Hoddle the scorer from the spot. Aces header. Now Brooks. Ooh, a bit of space here away on the left, and Tottenham men are filling it well as Velia sends the full-back Houghton on his way. The cross coming in, and what a beauty there! Oh, and he put it wide, Archibald. What a goal that would have been. A tremendous break. And it was Velia and Houghton. There's Velia's pass there to Houghton. What a ball played in there by Chris Houghton. And Archibald made a connection. Bradshaw put him off enough, and it went wide. And the linesman flagging. Free kick to Wolves. Holyfield with it. Played in lower there towards Eaves. Can he get round Smith? No, he can't, but he gets a corner. So we're halfway through the first half. Wolves get a corner, a goal down. Hoddle's penalty after 13. Daniel's taking it, but big Colin Brazier, 6'1.5" of him, standing there at the near post. Might well be the main that he aims for. Indeed it was, for the little flick back, but Lacey was there. Knocked back in there, goal! Atkinson for Wolverhampton Wanderers, which silences the Tottenham crowd, and all beginning with that corner, in fact, flicked on and then knocked out, and Atkinson turning it back in to make it 1-1. So Spurs, after looking as though they might well get the upper hand decisively in this game in the opening half hour, find themselves back at 1-1. And Hugh Atkinson, the scorer there for Wolves. Brazier long and high, but Lacey getting it away for Tottenham. Hoddle onside. A good decision by the linesman. Brooks well onside. Ardine is up supporting him. Brooks! What an amazing goal, because he ran half the length of the field before he beat Bradshaw. And Bradshaw must have wondered whether the pass inside was coming in for Ardiles, who made ground, and Archibald who made ground. It's Hoddle who gets Crooks on his way. As you can see, no more than 2 or 3 yards inside the Wolverhampton Wanderers half. And there's just that little bit of a gap there. Oh, and he puts it under the man. Puts it under Bradshaw. And that makes it Spurs 2, Wolves 1. Well, Garth Crooks notches up number 8 of the season. And that was a really fine individual effort. Noticeable that Wolves are warming up Willie Carr. They've looked dangerously short on experience, and Willie Carr can provide a lot of that. Here's Houghton, ducking in with a header. Here's Villa. Perryman. Played now for Ardiles. Smith. And Villazan getting it to Holyfield. Lacey turning it back again. Here's Daniel with a little touch there. Oh, and a missed kick. Crooks. And a save by Brazier. Oh, that was Atkinson's missed kick that very nearly allowed Garth Crooks in, and would have done but for a good save here by Paul Bradshaw. Lacey, Crooks. Ten minutes of the first half remaining. And a slip there by Mick Holyfield, which was unfortunate for him because the ball goes straight to Crooks. Terrific save by Bradshaw from Garth Crooks, who's really in the mood like the rest of the Tottenham side today. After Holyfield has slipped and given possession to Garth Crooks, let's look at this. And a lovely piece of keeping by Paul Bradshaw. So Spurs corner. Really on the rampage, Tottenham, but still only leading by 2-1. Here's Hoddle. Cross in there. Then beat them all. Will it beat Crooks? Oh, just across the face of that Wolves goal. And there were 4 Wolves defenders right on the line as that skidded from Garth Crooks, who's dynamite at the moment. Let's look at this again as Crooks. And just look at the Wolves players along that line, and it somehow stayed out. Hoddle. Perryman played back again for Hoddle, back again for Perryman, and well, it was Perryman's tenacity that won that ball after it looked to have been lost. Smith. Hoddle again, finding Villa. Oh! Well, that's his speciality. He had a blasting shot on Tuesday night against Arsenal that was disallowed, and that was another great shot with an economy of effort, it seemed, curling away from Bradshaw, grasping hands and just wide of the post. And there goes the half-time whistle, and there's no question that Wolves really have been on the receiving end for most of the first half, and there's no question too that John Barnwell, their manager, has got to go off to that dressing room and sort 1 or 2 things out. They looked so vulnerable in defence. And it was the penalty by Glenn Hoddle, the number 10, who got them on their way, and the number 8 going down there, Hugh Atkinson, who equalised for Wolves. And then, of course, Garth Crooks, number 11, going in there with that marvellous solo run that put Spurs 2-1 into the lead. The surprising thing is that they haven't stretched that lead to at least 3 or 4. So half-time score then here at White Hart Lane. It's Tottenham Hotspur 2, Wolves 1. Might be changes here at Tottenham on one side of the ground, but that famous old cockerel on the other, that will not be moved as we start now the second half. And Wolves waiting for the whistle from Mike Taylor, now attacking the goal to our left, and Willie Carr, the substitute, on. And I imagine that might be in place not of Atkinson, and Spurs get that one away. But there he is, Willie Carr, challenging Steve Perryman there, with the object, no doubt, of adding a little bit of stability and experience to the midfield for Wolverhampton Wanderers. And it's the Uruguayan Villazan who's gone off. That's a good ball by Holo for Martinez, and it fell nicely for him, but in the end, Humphrey was across there. It's Wolves' throw. Lacey. Richards. From Hibbett. Clark. He's found Mel-Eves. Good shot. And can somebody there finish it off? No, they can't for Wolves, and as well for Spurs that Chris Hughton was there. Mel-Eves holding his head because that certainly looked an equaliser. Danes couldn't hold it, and Hughton whacked it away as two Wolves players came in. But a corner for Wolves. Good play by Chris Hughton. Peter Daniel with it. Floated again towards the near post, which is how their goal came in the first half, but this time Archibald finds Ricky Villa. That's a good ball. What vision there to see Gordon Smith on the far side, but not so good there from Smith himself, but he looked for Crooks. Daniel coming in there. Here's a chance maybe for Mel-Eves again. Well, it wanted a little more curl on it, but that's twice now in the space of a little over a minute that Mel-Eves has suddenly found himself with a bit of space there. Richards, what a very good turn by him, beating Miller, and Richards goes on until he's finally brought down by Perriman. That's a free kick. And it's going to be Hibbett. Quite a blast on him. Goodness, that wasn't so far over either. Goal kick. Carr again for Wolves. Humphrey. Oh, and Humphrey losing out to Ricky. Crooks is up there with him. Archibald's making ground as well. Villa going all the way. Oh! And in the end, it was pushed behind by Kenny Hibbett, who somehow got back there, with the goalkeeper beaten by Villa's run and shot. Corner already taken, and over the top. Well, they took that corner pretty quickly. But we ought to look again at Villa's run here. Taking them on, and then deciding you'll get the shot in. It's just, look, Kenny Hibbett just turned it away for the corner. Crooks. Oh, did well there, Humphrey. Under pressure from Crooks. Turned it here and found Daniel. The long ball here. And it could be a chance now for Richards. And he's made it 2-2. Oh, what an amazing sequence of events there. Wolves, having sorted themselves out at half-time, looked a much better bet in the second half so far. And when in the first half it looked as though they were totally out of it, now suddenly they've pulled it back to 2-2, which was the score here last year. Lacey couldn't quite reach this one, and it gave Richards that chance as Danes came out. And the ball just crossing the line there before John Lacey could get to it. Spurs 2, Wolves 2, 12 minutes of the second half gone, and John Richards has made it that score at 2-2. Spurs find that third goal, or will the pendulum continue to swing Wolverhampton's way? It's an amazing transformation after that first half, where Spurs dominated to such a degree that it was almost embarrassing. But they've sorted themselves out well, but here's Crooks on the run again for Tottenham, and Spurs with the throw. So relieved John Barnwell, and Richie Barker on the right, his assistant. Hasn't had much played down this right-hand side for him in this second half rather, as Hoddle. But equally, it's true that with this man Kenny Hibbett, and he's played it back there for Crooks. And here's Archibald over the top. Well, I was about to say how much more formidable Wolves had looked in the back four since Hibbett had gone in there, and then he goes and does this. A ball played far too short there for Bradshaw. Crooks quite couldn't get the touch to it, and Archibald, when he could, well, it was too firm a touch and was way over. Well, I was just, as I say, going to say that Hibbett had made a difference in that back four, and he very nearly made it 3-2 for Tottenham. Perryman, Ardiles. You still get the impression that this is a game that Spurs could win, but also that it might be a bit difficult than it was in the first half. Hoddle, just wide. Nicked off the post, in fact. Ardiles holding off his man there. The flick to Hoddle, bringing it on to the left foot here, and I think it may just have clipped off the post. Belia again. Carr beating him. Here's Lacey for Tottenham. Now Hoddle coming into the picture more and more now in the second half. Now trying to lift one over the wall. And Archibald is onside. Can he control it and find the shot? He can, but again it's loud. Great ball by Hoddle. Lifting it over the back four there. But Archibald just onside to run on. Withstand the challenge, but shoot just wide of the far post. Crazy, or rather Atkinson right in there, and it's through to Baines. Eves, Atkinson, Clark, Holyfield. He's running into trouble. Got himself out of it well, though. And now looks to send Richards on his way. Oh, and he had two goes at it and couldn't get it properly at either attempt. And there was a real element of danger there for Tottenham, and no mistake. Well, they're not too happy after all that first half dominance by Tottenham. And they're going to take Chris Hughton off. He's struggling so much after that injury a few moments ago. So Chris Hughton goes off, and Graham Roberts comes on. He came on as a substitute against Arsenal on Tuesday. Used to be with Weymouth. It's Perryman for Tottenham now. Crooks up ahead of him. Inside, supported on the far side by Archibald and by Ardiles. A lovely ball played in there by Crooks for Ardiles. And now for Perryman. Saved superbly. Archibald can't get in there. Holyfield got it away. Here's Hoddle now. Blasting it straight at the keeper. Well, a great bit of play there by Tottenham, by Crooks in the first place. What a ball that was here for Ardiles. And then he plays it back here for Perryman. Tracks it there at the keeper. Archibald couldn't get in there. Holyfield got it away. Hoddle again. Straight at Bradshaw. They're well into injury time. And no chance of Spurs making progress there. The ball's gone in for a throw. to Wolverhampton Wanderers. And there's a final whistle, and it depends which way you look at it. I'm sure Keith Birkinshaw, the Spurs manager, says that's one we tossed away. And I'm sure John Barnwell, who was just behind him, thinks, well, that's one that we sorted ourselves out. Look at the broad, beaming smile there of John Barnwell. We sorted ourselves out at half-time, and my word, we had to fight and eventually got the point. He's giving a word of praise there to young John Humphrey. And indeed, Willie Carr in the midfield had such a tremendous influence on Wolves in that second half, as did Kenny Hibbett, apart from one or two of those back passes when he went into the back four. It was an altogether different proposition that Spurs faced in the second half, but they should have reaped a rich reward from their dominance in the first. So Hoddle and Crooks the scorers then for Tottenham, Atkinson and Richards for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and a final score then here at White Hart Lane. Tottenham Hotspur 2, Wolves 2.
And welcome back. And now it's Southampton against Ipswich. Southampton wavering just a little these past few weeks, but so often devastating in front of their own fans. And Ipswich slipping a fraction since they were top of the table, but for pure football, they take a bit of beating. Well, what a thriller they produced today. Southampton against Ipswich, covered by Southern Television. And the Southampton side, well, it's looking more like a full-strength team now. There's been speculation about Phil Boyer's future at Southampton. He's at number 9. Steve Moran is certainly amongst the goals as well. And good to see Kevin Keegan back after so much trouble with niggling injuries. Ipswich have a current international back as well, the striker Paul Mariner. Laurie Civil continues in goal for the injured Paul Cooper. But now let's join our match commentator, David Bobin.
Our match referee this afternoon, Brian Stevens from Stonehouse in Gloucestershire. And away we go in this so important Division 1 game. And as we're looking at it, it's Southampton in the dark shorts, attacking the goal on our left. Early taste of action for Kevin Beattie. Throw to Southampton, there's Keegan touching it into the middle. And we almost had a goal in the opening seconds of the game. Kevin Keegan with his first touch causing real havoc in the Ipswich defence, and Civil was all over the place there. Just the sort of start that Southampton wanted. Over comes the corner, and a little bit of order at the back for Ipswich as Big Terry Butcher gets a chance to bring it away. Intercepted by Williams. Keegan in again on that one. Quick to see the chances, Kevin Keegan. This could be dangerous. With Steve Moran and Kevin Keegan combining nicely on the edge of the Ipswich penalty area. Steve Moran, a young man amongst the goals in recent matches, 4 in his last 4. McCall with a long header, which has found Gates onside, and they're saying that he was offside. But really, Gates made a hash of that. Gates was set away by a debatable decision, and really one would expect an England striker to have made a little bit more of the opportunity than he did. But meanwhile, it's Southampton on the break now. Golak hitting it wide to Shannon. Still Mickey Shannon of Southampton breaks so quickly. Shannon electing to go wide, and Mills goes with him. Good saving tackle by Mills. Holmes puts it back, the pressure is still on. And they're very loose at the back at the moment, are Ipswich. And rightly, the referee playing advantage. Golak. Boyer couldn't quite get there, and away by Burley. Well, the hand went up, he didn't make contact, but it's all happening at the moment here at the Dell. Well, a late whistle, I would have thought, from the referee there after the challenge on Beattie. He seemed to have let play go on, and the ball was whacked through when the whistle went. But despite that, it's a free kick to Ipswich, which Russell Osman will take. Only Butcher, Beattie and Osman in the Ipswich half now, apart, of course, from Laurie Civil. Oh, that's Gates. He's going to hit that. What? Well, Gates had a lot of time, a lot of room, and a calculated, measured shot from Eric Gates with the left foot from outside the area, puts Ipswich in front. And Southampton, I think, can really count themselves unlucky to be behind at this stage. Eric Gates just on the edge of the area. There's the left foot shot. Good play this from midfield. The build-up is very nice from Ipswich, looking for Mariner again. To Walk, having a really good game as well in midfield. Mills to Gates, he's got Dave Watson with him. Burley's cross. And John Walk is in for the second. Well, John Walk was completely unmarked, and look at the delight on his face. George Burley's cross, Walk's header, here it comes. Nobody with him, Catalinic nowhere. Southampton 2 down. Well, halfway through a first half, which is really quite extraordinary. After the opening storm from Southampton, they've faded away now, and 2 goals in quick succession have got them on their knees. Butcher. Gates on one of those elusive runs of his, but robbed by Watson. Muren. It's Gates and Muren again, and it's run well for Eric Gates. He's got a good chance here as Gates. Oh, and a good stop from Ivan Catalinic. Another jinking run from Eric Gates, looking for his second goal of the afternoon. But this time the keeper really read his intentions nice and clearly. You can see the right foot shot and the save from Catalinic. Keegan, Shannon. At the moment, Southampton just can't quite get that vital touch and bite where it really counts in the 6-yard box of Ipswich. Keegan's under that one. Bit of a scramble. Keegan's still in there biting away. But Ipswich yet again get it away. This will be Mariners. Touches it back, but not far, and Williams will get it. Now Holmes. Left foot looking to Keegan. The touch on and away. Straight back to Keegan. Yet again, McMills showing composure, skill and calm. Rescuing the situation again for Ipswich, but Williams forces the breakdown of that move. Ivan Golak and Shannon. Beattie's close to him. He get the centre in, he can. And a good header away by Butcher because Phil Boyle was just behind him. Well, it's another corner to Southampton. How desperately they need a goal. They've had 7 corners of Southampton. Ipswich just one, but it's Ipswich who lead by the 2 goals. Golak centre, away by Ipswich again. Stevie Williams. Oh, yes! What a great goal by Steve Williams. They really needed that, did Southampton. And you won't see them hit much better than that. Here it comes, the right foot from Williams just inside the post, and Civil absolutely helpless. The Southampton really needed that goal. They've come back in the game. 2-1 they trail now, and surely the game is back alive. Golak for Southampton. Steve Williams puts that to Shannon, and he's got a bit of room if he can get it over. Baker. Well, that was a lovely move from Southampton, and that's just the way they started the first half. Shot coming in after the cross from Mick Shannon on the right, and Baker's shot firmly held by Civil. There's Shannon's cross, the ball running just to the back of the area. In comes Baker, outside of the foot, and Civil save. To Gates, all the confidence in the world there from Eric Gates with a touch to McCall, but it's gone wrong now. A little bit of tugging by Mr. Gates, so the free kick goes Southampton's way. Golak on the decoy run. Williams, Keegan, chested down and away by Mariner. Lovely little touch from Keegan, and the shot from Boyer. Oh, what a goal! That is an absolutely fantastic goal. The lovely pass from Kevin Keegan, and Phil Boyer, with only his 2nd goal of the season, swivelling and hitting it straight past her, and astonished Laurie Civil. Only 3 minutes of the half gone. There's the ball from Keegan. Boyer gets it, turns, hits it, and Civil helpless. Well, 2-2 it now is. The fans here absolutely delighted, and whatever Laurie McMenemy said to the side at half-time has really worked. Header away from Terry Butcher, only as far as Nick Holmes. It's Osman finding McMills, who's in lots of space on that right-hand side. He's got Mariner alongside him. Puts it past Mariner. This is McCall, finding room for the shot. Oh, good tip over from Katalinic. That was an important touch from the goalkeeper. As McCall had twisted and turned, found room for the shot, and Katalinic just got there. McCall here, we see it, the left foot shot coming in. Katalinic just touching it over. It was on its way. Mariner is calling for it, as is Osman. Foul on Chris Nicholl, who's on the deck. Laurie McMenemy, I think, delighted, although his face wouldn't betray it. Well, this is dangerous, as Keegan. Has it gone over? It hasn't. The referee was very close to watch the shot coming in. Civil was down there scrambling. Difficult to see for a lot of the crowd here and also for us, but we can see it now from behind the goal. There it is, under Civil and almost over the line. He just scooped it back in time. Well, Shannon certainly coming off worse than that challenge from Butcher, and he's going to be booked for that, is Terry Butcher. The man who stands 6'4" is going to go into the book. The referee is going to have a word with him. There's the yellow card. And when you stand that big and tall and you come down with a crunch as you do on Mick Shannon there, and the referee is just a few yards away, you can hardly expect but anything else to finish up in the book. Keegan looking for a way through. They might find one now through Shannon. Oh, Moran was there. Moran was poaching in case Civil lost it, and he nearly did. The cross came in really hard for Mick Shannon. And Moran was there poaching. There's the cross coming in. Civil down. It almost ran free, and Moran was there in case he let it go. John Will. Hit wide by McMills, but Burley has got a bit of pace and gathers quite cleanly. Gates is up on the edge of the area. That'll go to Eric Gates. And Watson just behind him. Burley. Walk is there with a little glancing header. And they obviously still haven't learned the lesson. John Walk scored in the first half, but he escaped everyone. So nearly did it again. It's a corner after all that. Muren takes it. Butcher. And it's in there. The challenge came from Paul Mariner. Well, that's extraordinary. The corner came over. The header from Butcher. Mariner was in there challenging with Katalinic. It ran free. And somehow or other it finished up in the back of the net. You can see now Mariner going in, Katalinic has it, and it just squeezes out of his hands across the line, and Mariner signals the goal. Well, that's a tragedy for Southampton to have played so well, and it's a tragedy for that man, Ivan Katalinic. Well, the home crowd are stunned, I think, by that goal. All the wind has gone out of their sails now, and Ipswich are back very much on top. 3-2 they lead, and they're really going to have to do something now, Southampton, to save this, and that's gone in from Eric Gates, but it's disallowed. Players come back. Well, the whistle had obviously earlier gone. There's the shot from Eric Gates going in and beating Katalinic, but there'd been an infringement earlier on and play had to come back. Shannon's surely going to be sandwiched there. And he was. The play is going on. The referee's not impressed. I think some of the players were expecting the whistle to have gone there, but it didn't. And this is Williams. Williams brought down by Butcher. And Kevin Keegan making his feelings quite clearly evident to the referee about that challenge from Terry Butcher on Steve Williams. And really, Kevin Keegan is involved in a little pushing match, and the red card is being shown to Terry Butcher. And meanwhile, Kevin Keegan is involved in all sorts of pushing with George Burley and Mick Mills, the referee calming it all down. Kevin Keegan incensed by what had happened. He was involved with a pushing and shoving match. You can see him talking there to Paul Mariner. The referee trying to put some semblance of order back in the game. Meanwhile, Butcher has disappeared up the tunnel. And this really is an extraordinary turn of events after we had such a good-spirited game earlier on. Butcher, frankly, was inviting trouble. We'd seen him booked earlier. You can still see Steve Williams lying there receiving attention. Mick Mills, the Ipswich captain, trying to calm his players down. And that's a really unfortunate incident that has discoloured the whole of this game, which up until then had really been played in a pretty keen and aggressive spirit. Certainly hard, certainly competitive, but never really malicious. But now Butcher is off for that foul. And Southampton, nearly took an equaliser. They're in here. Moran! It's there! Well, Steve Moran is over the moon, and so are the fans. Ipswich are furious, but Southampton are back at 3-3. Well, this is quite an amazing game. It really is all happening here. And Steve Moran was probably the calmest man on the field as he just put his header into the back of the net. Burley now is going to gallop, feeds it to Mariner, or rather Gates. And Gates runs straight into Dave Watson. Well, the free kick, of course, to Ipswich for the Dave Watson challenge, and so it's Kevin Beattie and George Burley over it. Southampton putting up some sort of defensive wall, and Mariner is there with Walk, and Osman has joined them. This is Muren, shot from Muren, so nearly scrambling in. Gates, well challenged by Katalinic. Katalinic quick to recover the error after he let it squeeze away. Gates was quickly in there and nearly snatched up the rebound. Although they've only drawn, I think they'll be pleased, at least Laurie McMenemy will be pleased in some ways at the attitude the team have shown, although not happy to have conceded 2 goals as they did halfway through that first half in quick succession. Nick Holmes, they've still got a chance of Southampton. This is Shannon faced by Burley. Back to Holmes, he'll put it in. And Moran, now here's Boyer. Oh, off the line, Boyer again. Oh! Well, it looked for a moment as if it was going to be the winner from Phil Boyer. But players coming back anyway. The linesman, I think, was flagging for some sort of incident, then put his flag down, but you can see, here's the shot from Boyer, well over the top, after he had a chance to knock it in first time. Well, it's a goal kick. Deep into injury time now. We don't even get a chance to see that goal kick taken. And it really has been an extraordinary afternoon here at the Dell. A game absolutely full of incident. Kevin Keegan is going off the field with blood all over his shirt. There's Phil Boyer, the man who scored that astonishing second goal for Southampton. He's been subject to transfer talk, possibly on his way to Manchester City, but playing a very positive part in Southampton's draw this afternoon.
Takes your breath away. 3-3, and like that 2-2 draw at Tottenham today, a match that overall can only do good for the game. I don't know if it's just me. While everybody seems to be talking about crises in the game, I've seen more good matches this season, I think, than for a long time. And there's still one more, of course, to come tonight between Leeds United and Arsenal. But what about the excitement and the controversy at Southampton today? First of all, that Ipswich goal that wasn't.
What about the disallowed goal from Eric Gates? What did you see wrong with
that? Well, it was a cracking goal. I mean, if you've got it on television, what a finish. But apparently there was a slight foot over the line or on a foul throw basis, which was rather unfortunate for us. I mean, the linesman in that respect had eyes like razor blades. I wished he'd been as sharp on other incidents, which I saw.
Well, razor blades or not, Bob, a part of each foot must be either on or behind the line, and Arnold Muren, you can see that when he releases that ball from that throw, has a foot clearly over the line, and the linesman absolutely right. Good finishing by Eric Gates, but quite rightly, that Ipswich goal was ruled out. Well, that's cleared that one up, I think, but we still have to look at the sending off of Terry Butcher of Ipswich in the second half of that match. That was really controversial. A moment that was critical in the game, of course, because Ipswich's third goal came from the free kick. Well, David Bobin spoke to both managers, and they had quite different hard-hitting views. First, Bobby Robson of Ipswich.
All right, the lad has been in a little bit of trouble on the odd occasion, but no more than several other players in the match. And you see, unless players give and take, and the game is played in the right spirit, we don't want to reduce the game to 8v8. We've got to keep players on. Now, and I saw a situation where, you know, other players in the match are wanting the player to be sent off. Now, that never happened in my day, and I don't see why it should happen now. Because I think players have a duty to the public and a duty to the game. And it wasn't a dirty match, you see. I mean, the tackles were fair and hard. Now, that's the game, isn't it? If we depart from that, then the game is in a sorry state.
The laddie went off. The referee had made his mind up he was going off before players got round him. He said that to me personally there anyway. But I've looked at Steve Williams's leg, and I've asked Bobby Robson to have a look at it as well. He's got a 4-inch gash, a scar rather, at the very top of his leg, the very 4 inches from the top of his leg on the inside, and that was a very, very high tackle. And the lad had been booked once, and unfortunately he had to go off. The thing that Bobby's arguing about is the remonstration of players to the referee before he waved the card. That's a thing which nobody condones, but it happens, unfortunately, and I don't think it influenced the referee one little bit at all.
The yellow and the red card has produced all sorts of problems in this country. The quicker we dispose with that business, the better, because it puts too much pressure on referees, and the public are excited about it. As well, get him off, and let's have the red card, and the boy gets sent off, and 22,000 people cheer, you know. I don't think football's about that. I thought the kid could have stayed on the pitch. I don't think the attitude of the Southampton players made it any easier for him. They're all in the same racket together. You know, you know, we're supposed to be sportsmen. I doubted that once or twice there this afternoon in the late stages of the game.
And it was also extraordinary to see Kevin Keegan and Mick Mills actually, I mean, they're England teammates, and there they were actually exchanging very cross words and pushing each other around.
Well, because Mickey felt as strong about the incident as I did, and felt as strong about what happened in order to try and get our player off, where the influence of the referee was obviously going to be involved by players. And that annoyed him, and I stand up for Mickey Mills, because I'm only interested in a sense, in the main, in my team and my players. I'm defending my team and my players.
Let's go over to Jim for the national news.
Well, away from our goal bonanza, you really had to look hard for any excitement. The rest of the First Division programme produced only 7 goals. Among 4 goalless draws, the match at Anfield, where Nottingham Forest again frustrated Liverpool. Liverpool have only beaten Forest twice in 13 attempts. Aston Villa were involved in a goalless game for the first time this season at West Brom, but Villa have increased their lead at the top to 3 points. Gary Birtle still hasn't scored for Manchester United, and after their goalless draw with Coventry at Old Trafford, Birtle's honestly admitted he deserved the jeers he got from the crowd. Birtle's got an ankle injury. He hasn't been able to train flat out, but he refuses to make any excuses. I know I'm not playing to my ability, he says. I feel I've let myself and everyone else down. I'm my own biggest critic, and I think the fans are entitled to a lot more than they've been getting. Well, I'm sure there's nothing wrong there. A few goals wouldn't put right. And Birtles must be looking enviously at Manchester City's Dennis Tueart. He scored his 7th in 4 games as City got another valuable point in the 1-1 draw at Leicester.
And still to come, that remarkable game between Leeds United and Arsenal, well worth a few minutes of your time before you go to bed tonight. Welcome back. And now stand by for some more fine football and plenty of goals as we come to our third match tonight, Leeds United against Arsenal from Elland Road. The pictures are from Yorkshire Television, the commentator's Martin Tyler, Leeds are in white, and we join the match in the first half.
Ball made Madeley, 36 years old now. He's played better passes than that. Now he has to check to cover John Hollins. And an own goal by John Lukic. John Hollins, who must have thought he'd seen most things in professional football, finds Arsenal going in front with an elementary mistake from poor John Lukic. Heard again. That's Connor. Good reflexes from Wood to just flick it over the top from Terry Connor. Connor just getting in, and the header directed well. Wood put it over the top. And Connor this time from the back flick by Paul Hart. And really in trying to keep it down, he got over the ball too much. And Wood grateful to find the ball dropping at him with no real pace on it. And Sunderland getting away from Hart. Supported by Gatting. Devine and now Talbot. Sunderland again. Arsenal have 4 waiting for the cross. Flicked on by Ricks. Sansom was right in there, and that was Gatting! And Arsenal go 2 in front. And those who have criticised Arsenal's approach away from home should observe how many men they got forward then. It was touched on by Ricks. Sansom was well forward, but the half clearance dropping straight for Steve Gatting, whose volley was perfectly placed. Here's Gray. Flynn has joined Connor and Parlane in the middle. And the hustling and closing down by Talbot, serving Arsenal well, and Talbot leading the breakout. McDermott to his right, and Sunderland here to his left. Sunderland against Trevor Cherry. Trying to find an angle for the shot, and a deflection. Struck the bar, and McDermott doing well to keep it in play. With Alan Sunderland looking to work a shooting position. And when he finally let go, it ricocheted up in the air, dropped over Lukic. This time fortune favoured the Leeds goalkeeper. Walford, Gatting, McDermott, beautiful build-up, and Gatting had the goalkeeper beaten again. Really is a ground where he must enjoy playing, and he placed that to Lukic's right. It just flashed past the junction. Now Graham. To set up Hart. Dermott was back to check the move. Arsenal so good at mounting the counter-attack. And here's Ricks, Sunderland ahead of him. Hollins making the man to his left, and Sunderland with a volley that was perfectly executed. Ricks with another beautifully release pass that dropped over Madeley and was really clattered on the volley by Sunderland. Ricks. Here's Sansom, who will keep it in. Hollins joining Sunderland and McDermott in the middle, and it's Hollins! And that was surely over the line, and this time John Hollins will get the credit for sure. The deep cross from Sansom had picked him out. Sunderland let it run for Hollins. The shot was hit well, but it was straight at Lukic, through his legs and just over the line. It's Gatting's tackle that won the ball back for Arsenal. McDermott is the only man that they've got forward, prepared to take on Cherry. Talbot's arriving in the middle, and McDermott finds him. Can Brian Talbot make it 4? He can! The first man he congratulates is the provider, 19-year-old Brian McDermott. So those who have made the journey from North London have more to celebrate. Won by Arsenal in their own half, and McDermott set on his way. And once he'd shaped for the cross, there was always a problem for Leeds if he could pick out Talbot. Talbot taking it on the chest and then rolling in the fourth goal. This time it's Walford who leads the charge forward. He has McDermott to his left, Sunderland going through the middle. And Sunderland's shot makes it 5. But it's now becoming a rout. Paper-thin resistance from Leeds. And Alan Sunderland gets his name on the score sheet 8 minutes from time. Steve Walford carrying it forward. And when the ball was released, the marking on Sunderland was scanty, to say the least.
And 5-0 was the final astonishing result, and now who dares to say that Arsenal are negative and boring away from home. That was a really great performance by them, and indeed it puts them into 4th place in the First Division now. Leaders Aston Villa, then Ipswich, but notice that Ipswich, although 3 points behind, have 2 games in hand. Then Forest, Arsenal, Liverpool and West Brom still very much in contention. It wasn't a game that the Leeds manager Alan Clark enjoyed very much. He described his team as the worst in the league at giving goals away, and he's having them back at the ground tomorrow morning for a team meeting. And that's it. Well, it may be that there are a few things wrong with football, but after those 3 matches tonight, well, there's a hell of a lot that's right too. Hope you've enjoyed the big match tonight, a night when football can look its public in the face and know it's given good value for money. From us all, good night.
Hurrell, onside. A good decision by the linesman. Crooks well onside. Ardeen is up supporting him. Crooks!
Lovely little touch from Keegan, and the shot from Boyer. Oh, what a goal!
Sunderland again. Arsenal have 4 waiting for the cross. Flicked on by Ricks. Sansom was right in there, and that was Gatting.